you for joining me for the Vampire Talk Show. I'm your host, Valaine. My roommate discovered my coffin under the concrete floor of the basement in her new house and woke me up from a 100-year nap. Now, I'm reconnecting with old friends, making new ones, and of course, making a podcast. I cannot wait to talk to tonight's guest. However, let's talk about dating. Back in my day, a guy could pick up a gal in a speakeasy, a park, or wherever people congregate. Now, everyone is found via apps. I think it has something to do with the amount of people you can know and be connected to versus how many people you knew and were connected to before the days of Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Amen. Why, I could count on a couple of hands how many people actually knew me, and even a slimmer few who knew me as a vampire. Now you can have 500 friends, can you hear the air quotes in my voice? That you can accumulate over time. People are supposed to drift apart, part ways, and lose touch. It's like shedding skin. But that's not to say I don't want to be followed. At Vampire Talk Show on Twitter, at The Vampire Talk Show on IG, The Vampire Talk Show on Facebook, and at val.the.vampire6 on TikTok. Anyway, a vamp has to keep up with the times, you know. Anyway, dating apps. It's just like when Allie and I order dinner from one of the many food delivery apps. Allie gets to stay in her jammies and eat her vegetable lo mein, and I get the delivery guy. It's win-win. Well, on these dating ones, there is a veritable menu of delights at your fingertips. And some profiles are woefully inept at catching the eye of a potential mate, and these become a great source of food for me. Poor desperate souls. I make sure they have a lovely time, though, and leave our meeting feeling more confident and ready to take on an actual date. People who use apps, I commend you because it is almost like a virtual gladiator pit. You're vying for attention and trying to stand out among thousands of profiles. Some people get very clever and creative. And I always get asked all the time, Val, are you single? Val, are you seeing anyone? Val, will you marry me? And I say no, on all accounts. I am perfectly happy being single and dead and loving it. I am not on Mythmatch like my other cohorts, although I do have the app so that I can keep tabs on gossip and see who is freshly on the meat market and who seems to be flirting with whom and whatnot. So it's a great source of information, but not for me. Anyway, on with the show. Tonight's guest is Barstow of Kelly-Hopkinsville Goblin fame. We've swum in each other's periphery for decades, but never met because I was asleep. Please welcome Barstow. Hello, Barstow. How are you, darling?
Oh, hello, Valaine. I'm doing very well. How are you this fine evening?
Oh, I'm just perfectly amazing. Had a delivery guy for dinner, and it was wonderful. I'm so glad that you could make it out here. I know that you're from Kentucky, and we are firmly in the eastern coast of the U.S. So thank you for the travel.
Oh, not at all. You know, the caves that we have wound up residing in go underneath most of this country, so it might take a little while, but we could travel nearly anywhere.
That's right. I believe the Appalachians are... I'm sorry. The Appalachians are just a mile south of here. So I'm sure that you have come through that way. If I had to guess, it's almost like we're talking about, oh, did you take the 70 or did you take the 270? Sounds like Californian to me. But we're talking about cave systems instead. Did you take the Mammoth Cave?
Well, actually, I did now that you talk about it. It is probably a little darker than these highways that you speak of usually are.
Yes, yes. My dear, are you on Myth Match?
I'm afraid that I am not, but there are some of us that are. I just don't really care for it myself. I'd rather meet people in person if I can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Are you seeing anybody at the moment?
Well, there may be a little goblin that has caught my eye.
Ah. You don't have to blow her up by giving her name or anything, but or their name. You didn't specify gender. Um,
No, 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 I didn't, did I? Hmm.
oh, that's totally fine. My dear, how have you been? Not a lot of people have seen you about since the 50s, correct?
Well, people have seen possibly some of us. Sometimes we do come up for air out of the mines and things. And it really, in the 50s, it was when we arrived on this planet.
Mm. So technically not a cryptid, more of an alien species, correct?
Oh, quite right, quite right.
So where do you come from then, originally?
Well, I believe that the humans here call it Andromeda.
Ooh, Andromeda.
Hmm.
Wonderful, wonderful little area in space.
Oh,
And
it smells of cinnamon.
it smells of cinnamon.
Hmm.
Oh, I love that. Um, Cinnamon is a good scent, I feel. Although sometimes it's overdone. If you go to a craft store around Christmas time, it is almost unbearable. Um, but yes, but cinnamon is wonderful. Do you miss your home of Andromeda, or are you firmly ensconced in Earth?
Well, sometimes you do get homesick, but unfortunately, when we came here, we rather ran out of fuel.
Oh,
So we haven't been able to leave. We've been trying to find an alternate source, but there hasn't really been anything. We were trying for a while something called that the humans call nuclear power,
mm,
but that's messy and
yeah.
only really lets us hover and fly around, not really get back to our home world.
Yes, I imagine it is quite difficult to test out new fuel if you are constantly drawing the eye of UFO nuts, uh, or UFO
Oh yes, and
enthusiasts, you know.
yes, and sometimes they bring out firearms, which is just rude, just very rude.
Absolutely. I think that is very rude and utterly disgusting if you ask me. It's like uh, how else to welcome people to the planet, waving is nice, saying hello is nice. Let's put the Glock away.
Yes, or the shotgun. Yes.
Yes, it depends on where where you're flying over, I suppose. Glock's more likely in the cities,
Hmm.
rifles more
Yes,
likely in the rurals.
yes. We generally try to stay away from the cities. The buildings are a bit too close for our ships.
Hmm. Hmm.
You don't want to bounce off of things if you can help it when you're flying around.
So, are you trying desperately to get back home, or are you just like you're okay staying here for the rest of the of your life, however long that is?
Well, there is a certain portion of our population that are working on the problem, but I've just gotten used to it here, and I don't really think I want to leave, even when we're able to eventually.
Hmm. I can understand that. I'm originally from New York, but I woke up in Maryland, and I hated it at first, but it's actually not that bad. So, I know what you're talking about. If it wasn't for Ali in Maryland, I wouldn't have a podcast and I wouldn't be talking to such wonderful people such as yourself. Well, aliens, not people, but.
Oh, thank you for that consideration, my dear.
So I have kind of a point blank question for you.
All right.
Yes, this is not gotcha journalism, but just more of a curiosity. Um, so I was wondering, are you in fact behind the whole Hellier debacle?
Well, that I can personally neither confirm nor deny that we have ever been to a place called Hellier.
Gotcha. Okay, okay. Because I've heard so much about Hellier goblins, and I was just wondering if there was a connection between the Hopkinsville and Hellier goblins. And I was wondering if maybe you were doing a flash mob or a prank or something like that.
Well, that may have been some of our youngsters trying to get out and play.
Hmm. That makes sense, actually.
Yeah, they do like to come up occasionally. And do you know of these things called doggos?
Doggos.
Yes, good boys and good girls.
Oh, the furry four-legged creatures. Yes,
Oh
yes,
yes, yes, yes.
yes, I do. I
Yeah.
know them well.
Well, since we have attached to the internet of these humans, we do see that there are rumors that we steal people's dogs and eat them, but we don't really do that.
Mm,
Not at all. Not at all. No, 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 no.
it's good to know.
Usually, what winds up happening is, especially some of our younger goblins, will go to the surface and see that these doggos are just being kept outside all the time and they're not really loved.
Oh.
So they take them into the caves and they wind up being underground doggos.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love the idea of pets being down in the caves with all the goblins. That's wonderful. Um,
Yes, we give them all the shiny toys that they want.
oh, well, that's nice. It's good to hear that you're not eviscerating Spot and Pluto. Um,
Oh no, no, not at all. No, no, no. We prefer mushrooms.
hmm, mushrooms. Interesting. Just raw mushrooms, or are you cooking with mushrooms or anything like that?
Well, it does depend on an individual goblin's taste. But it some of us have been experimenting with the various spices and oils and sauces and things of the humans.
Yes, I feel that living in a cave, your options are limited. So coming out and procuring items from the human realm is probably essential. Um, do you have you spent much time among humans? Do you ever go out like in disguise or anything like that?
Well, sometimes we do. Yes, yes. But usually we keep on trench coats and things and try to keep to ourselves. And sometimes that doesn't work because people like to go to see these goblins. I am sorry, like to go and see these things called movies.
Mm. Oh yes. I do love a good movie in a movie theater. I used to go to um film palaces and whatnot, but now movie theaters are just wonderful. And you can hide in there because it's dark. Oh.
Oh yes, yes, especially in the back, in the corners.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Somebody's got to sit in the back in the corners. I believe it's destiny for us mythical creatures to sit in the corners in the back of the movie theaters. Um, what's your favorite movie theater snack?
Hmm. I think my favorite snack are those red viney things called Twizzlers.
Oh,
They stretch a bit and they taste of strawberry usually or cherry.
mm-hmm.
They don't have the black ones. Those are kind of
Oh,
just
black licorice is the absolute worst. And did you know that if you have a heart condition, it can actually cause tachycardia if you have too much?
I did not know that. I'm not sure if that
Really?
applies with goblins, but that is something that we should keep a weather eye on, I think.
Yes, yes. Now, apparently it happens to humans quite a bit, poor things, if they're very into black licorice. Although I believe the taste of black licorice should deter humans from it entirely, but it doesn't, surprisingly. Oh, goodness.
I seem to remember hearing that they've made alcohol, spirits that taste like it as well. I, I rather wonder why one would do that with something that tastes like that does, but perhaps it's just not my taste.
Yes, it's probably an acquired taste like, coffee or kimchi or whatever.
Or
Um,
moxie.
or what?
Moxie.
Moxie. What is Moxie?
That is a carbonated human beverage. It is. It's a soda.
Oh, yes, yes. I'm well versed in that because it seems like every human these days has a soda within reach. Not that I'm complaining. I do love a good cherry Coke. I'm not going to lie. So, um, but yes, because I can taste things after humans eat them. For those listening that don't remember, so I know what food tastes like because humans eat food. Anyway,
Oh, so like if they ate a lot of pineapple, the blood would taste of pineapple.
absolutely. It
Oh,
doesn't even
interesting.
matter like how much they have. It's basically whatever they've eaten last is what I taste in their blood. So, if I feel nostalgic for some caviar and toast points, I just simply sit down with a human, have them eat some of that. We chat, I glamour them, I take a bite, and then there they are. It tastes like caviar and toast points to me. So, um, so yeah, that's how I am able to uh taste and savor the various fruits of modern technology and people's culinary efforts. And it's wonderful, I will say.
Oh, that is very good. It sounds. Hmm. Have you seen any of the things on this YouTube of all these human chefs trying all different things and trying to tell people ways to cook things that then people try to do response videos and they can't.
Yes, when it comes to humans and YouTube, it is the best way for me to get to know a human culture nowadays. And I do love a good cooking video. And I believe they're also called mukbangs, where people are
Hmm,
eating food and talking, which,
hmm, hmm.
was always frowned upon when I was younger. Well, older. Well, always frowned upon back in the day, I should say. And but one of my favorite things is actually watching candy making videos. And
Hmm.
very short like craft videos and that sort of thing, especially if I happened upon some drug tainted blood. I am all about the reefer. I think it's
Hmm,
wonderful that it's legal now. And
hmm, hmm.
I'm no stranger to its effects, and it's but I will say it is terrible being a vampire with the munchies because there's only so much blood you can drink before killing someone. So I
And
tend
do
to,
well, do you ever gorge yourself in the blood? Is that a possible issue?
yes, unfortunately, it's sometimes I get a little overboard and then I have to drop off a nearly dead person at a hospital and that sort of. I mean, I've killed a person or two. Not gonna lie. I try not
That
to
comes with
though.
the territory, doesn't it?
It does, it does. But I try not to because I'd rather stay in one place. And if I'm constantly killing people, and now like with YouTube and all of the social media stuff, I've come to really like humans, and they're more personified now to me. So I feel they're not like chattel anymore. So
Oh, so you know them?
yes, I live with one, and
Oh, oh my.
yes, my producer Allie. I live with her, and and she is a wonderful human. She does let me feed on her quite a bit. But
Oh, that's very nice of her.
it is she's such a peach. And but yeah, no, I do like humans. They are quite skittish, but you know, they're
That has been my experience as well. They don't really like it when you try to come over and ask for a bit of salt or sugar, and then they shoot at you, and that's just not very fun.
oh, and it's not as if you're so threatening. I mean, I have these sharp teeth, but you're just like what, 3 feet tall, aren't you?
Oh, about 2.5 to 4 feet, but a lot of us are about three. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. Um, eh, it's not exactly like an intimidating stature that you have in comparison to um uh average sized humans. So I don't understand why they would break out the guns and try to eradicate you and your loved ones. That's just so sad.
Well, it's just good that usually when this happens, we have our silver suits on. You see,
Hmm.
so usually the human firearms don't get through them, and it just knocks us back, and we just run away.
So yes, I was noticing your choice of fashion. You're wearing this wonderful silver suit. It looks very much.
Oh, thank you.
Oh yes. It's very shiny. So, and this is may I feel the material?
Oh, of course, of course, of course.
Oh yes. Oh, that's quite comfy. But it's bulletproof, huh?
Ah, yes, yes,
That's fantastic.
yes, and it does actually cover the entire head and face as well,
Hmm.
except for these yellow goggles that we have.
Yellow
So,
goggles.
yes, the light spectrums on this world are a little much for us, so we had to have goggles on at
Uh,
any time that we were above the ground.
oh, that makes so much sense. Yes. Yes. That's why I try to make sure that everybody comes over at night, because I am myself nocturnal. Um, and I prefer the dark. Anyway. Uh, but so your suit is bulletproof. Now,
Mhm.
would it be stake proof by chance?
Uh, I think potentially it would be. We'd have to run some tests, of course.
Hmm. Because I might be interested in having some pajamas made out of that material. So when I'm in my coffin, uh, being staked isn't that big of a worry anymore. If I have one of those little silver suits over my heart.
Oh, we could definitely talk.
Oh, yes.
Oh, absolutely.
So who designs your jumpsuits?
Oh, it's a great friend of mine, Oscar.
Oscar. Oh,
Hmm.
wonderful.
He's one of our shorter stature ones, but he's very very good with his hands and with machinery in making the garments and things.
Oh, wonderful. And do they have any other designs that they've been working on? I'm a little bit of a fashion nut.
Well, one of Oscar's other clients, I believe you may know of them, Braxy.
Oh, yes, Miss Braxy. Yes. That is fantastic. Yes. Aren't you uh you you are friends with her, are you not?
Well, we're kind of cousins, I guess you might say.
Cousins. Ah, yes. Oh, that's right. She's also from space. And I
Mhm.
think, yes, very quite near
And
Andromeda, for that matter.
and I believe that when she came to this planet, she landed in a fairly close to where we did, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yes, she is in Braxton County. That's where she gets her name,
Mhm.
Braxy. And
Yeah,
with
so nice of her to start integrating into the society here.
yes, I know that she's kind of stuck in one place, unfortunately, but do you visit her often? Do you chat and whatnot?
Oh, we try to get out there when we're able to. Yes, the caves definitely go into her land, so there's no need for her to leave it. Uh, and she's a wonderful hostess.
Oh, absolutely. Actually, that's okay. Yes. Now I remember. You were at her Christmas party, were you not?
Yes, I may have been a bit into my cups, but I was there for sure.
All of us were into our cups. And I snuck in a couple of ghosts, and boy, we tied one on that night. And yes, Miss Braxy is one of the best hostesses on the planet. Um, and I do not say that lightly. I used to hang with quite the crowd back in the 20s, 1920s.
Hmm.
Um, but yes, absolutely loved all of the human sacrifices that were also there. That was fantastic because then I didn't have to worry about stopping. They were designated for the party, for party people. So I didn't feel bad knocking off a couple, and they were well inebriated before I got to them. So I was in my cups as well.
That certainly was a wild night, wasn't it?
She certainly knows how to throw a party, that's for sure. So Oscar also designs the Flatwoods Monsters dress, the metallic dress, the iconic dress, correct?
Yes, yes. Because living out where she does occasionally, you're in nature, aren't you? And things do get snagged up a bit. So sometimes you do need some new garments. And sometimes it just needs to be a bit bulletproof if you're wandering around the humans.
That's true. That's true. I am quite grateful that I pass for human occasionally. If I modernize my look a bit and keep my mouth shut, I can usually pass for human. And I'm sorry that a lot of my friends cannot. Everybody else has to kind of deal with the full force of human rage against things that they don't understand, which is quite a shame if you ask me. It's there's nothing to be scared of.
No,
And
no, not at all, not at all.
no, no. It's like the Newkirks say, curiosity over fear. So, and I'm also a big believer in that.
Hmm.
Anyway, do you know of the Newkirks and everything? Me being a goblin and whatnot.
I do actually. I find the views on goblins to be a bit well, possibly pedantic, but they seem to be nice people, don't
Yes, for
they?
humans, they seem all right. Yes. The Hellier gang, they're fans and whatnot. They seem very into goblins these days. You see them actually toting around little stuffed goblins everywhere they go. It's uh quite insane. It
Yes,
feels
but endearing at the same time, isn't it?
it is endearing, quite endearing for sure. And I just, it seems very cult-like, but in the most wholesome, best way, I believe. It's not like, you know, they're sacrificing virgins or, trying to steal credit cards or anything like that. Um, well, Barstow, this has just been an absolutely lovely conversation, but now I believe we're going to get into some paranormal gossip. A terrible miscommunication happened yesterday in the Baltimore harbor. Mr. Trash Wheel is a trash collecting machine that is in the water. It has collected over 2,300 tons of trash since its installation. It was mistaken as a fellow cryptid by none other than Chessie, the Chesapeake Bay Monster. Jessie was spotted trying to give Mr. Trashwheel a back rub, and when met with no living response, wailed into the night, lamenting lost love. Jessie, darling, don't go chasing trash in harbors. Stick to the bay that you're used to. Barstow, have you met Jessie before?
No, unfortunately, I can't say that I have. I have a bit of an allergy to water. I don't like to drown. It
That's right, yes.
Yes, with our silver suits, they wind up plummeting us right to the bottom.
Oh, that's true. Yes, I suppose anything bulletproof like that would be quite heavy. Um, well, Chessie is a deer, but unfortunately, just kind of not the brightest cryptid in the water. Um,
No, no, but at least they tried.
at least they tried. Yes, that's very true. Well, that's all for our show tonight. Thank you, Barstow, for being on and chatting with me, dear friend.
Oh, thank you very much, Verlaine. It's been so wonderful to get to actually meet you in person.
All right, my dears, that is it for this evening. And remember, embrace the dark, the strange, and unusual. It just may embrace you back. Thank you to Douglas Fisher for being our guest today. You can find him on Twitter at Metron2001 and on Instagram as at Scarborough_gatekeeper. Please consider becoming a Patreon member of the show. You can be a Baby Bat Sticker Club member where you get stickers every month, or you can be a Tarot Speakeasy member where you can get a tarot reading and tarot cards sent to you every month. Please subscribe on patreon.com/The Vampire Talk Show. This has been an Opus Nox Media production. To find out more, go to opusnoxmedia.com.